After watching film, proud of the guys' victory. It was a hard-fought win. I thought we did some good things. Starting fast again was important. Both sides of the ball need to be more consistent. But I've been proud of the effort and looking forward to a great challenge here this week with South Carolina.
Did you watch their game against Missouri?
I did.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, they're a good team. They're you know, at times they look absolutely dominant, just like a lot of teams. You know, but they have great potential.
Your sort of reputation is huge strides in year two on defense, and so far it looks like that's happened here. What has been the key to that every place you've been?
Well, I think you know, a big part of it is being more familiar with what you're doing systematically, but a big part of it is just fundamentally playing better. That's what I've always prided myself on, is teaching guys how to play, you know, and believe me, we're as guilty as anybody with trying to do a lot of things and trying to be as creative as you can be with all your schemes and all that stuff, but it comes down to playing football. And we're far from where we want to be, but we are drastically improved on fundamentally how to play football. And I think we need to continue to work on that.
Coach, you must be doing some good fundamental things on defense. This team scored 34 points. This Vanderbilt team got 34 points in South Carolina. You held them to 7.
Yeah, actually, South Carolina really, if you put that on the defense, they really only gave up 20. You know, with 2 on special teams. So I'm sure with that 20, South Carolina wasn't happy with that as well. Like I said, at times they've played great football around South Carolina for the past several years on both sides of the ball, and they have this year. I know Coach Spurrier and their staff, you know, I know they've probably been unhappy with the inconsistent play at times, but that's us as well. They certainly looked dynamic on both sides of the ball in certain games. In particular, you look at the Georgia game and how good they played. So they you know, I'm sure they're mad and you know, ready to improve, you know, on all sides, just like we are. You know, that's the good thing about us in the last game. I thought we did some good things. I thought we were very resilient in hanging in there and getting the victory. I thought we started fast, but we need to be more consistent. And I've said it over and over. And our team is starting to get that at times, but we're just, you know, it comes down to being fundamental football team. And on both sides of the ball and on special teams. You know, we just need to continue to improve and worry about ourselves and get better at what we're trying to do.
Mark, South Carolina's lost twice at home already this year. How important is it when you're trying to win a division to protect your home field?
Well, I think it's very important, and you know, we're trying to play as best we can every week, no matter where it is, and you know. You heard me talk about it a couple weeks ago. Sometimes we're playing some of our better football on the road, you know, at times, and we got to get back to playing the best we can here. You know, I thought, again, we did some good things, but just too many mistakes in the last game. We really had a chance to dominate that game and didn't do it.
You got, I guess, the football account tweeted out that they want the fans to come dressed in black to this game. Will the players also be wearing black?
I'm not sure yet. I'll get with TK and some of the guys in the office here sometime here this week and get a plan.
Have you basically said, maybe for recruiting purposes, to Nike, put us in whatever you want? You guys have been in a different thing every week, and it seems like there's maybe some value.
We have a lot of options. Some of the people in our office and some people in marketing did a nice job in the summer and took some pictures of a lot of different options with our players in it, so we could look at it and just see what we want to go with that particular week. And it is good to change it up. I think our players like it. It's good for recruiting. It's been good for us to spice it up a bit.
Mark, the mistakes you alluded to, is that the reason why you decided to just do what you did the last 5 minutes or so of the game and just solve the game winning?
Well, at that point, that's all you're trying to do is get a victory. Yeah, of course. You know, you just we're up 10 with the ball, and we're just trying to get some first downs and get a win. So, yeah.
South Carolina's 100% in the red zone this season. What makes them so effective once they get down there, and what are some things you kind of do to stop that?
Well, like any great offensive teams, they're balanced, extremely talented at running back and tight ends. Of course, they have a bunch of wideouts. And playing good at quarterback. And Coach Spurrier's, been around a long time and been very successful for a long time, and very creative. They're just a good football team, and they're just I don't know the real reason why they. Maybe they're more locked in or making good plays, but they got good players. And the tight end is a good, he's a great one. And I love their running back, Davis.
Mark, after you all looked at the film, what did you see offensively in the second half?
Well, missed opportunities. When you play a team like Vandy that likes to control the ball and run it and use up a lot of clock, even though really wasn't too much of the case, we were getting off the field relatively quick. But you're not going to have as many possessions, and you got to make them count. And we got behind the chains with certain things, whether it be a fumble or a penalty and just silly things. We just got behind the chains when we missed some shots. We had our opportunities, and we just missed them slightly. And it's just like we were driving. We had good field position. I forget what possession it was in the second half, in the fourth quarter, maybe early in the fourth quarter. We were driving it nice, running the ball. And then we had our shot. We had them set up, and we take a shot on first down and missed it, just slightly out of bounds. Now you're behind the chains. 2nd and 10, third down, punt. So we just got to be more precise and execute better. We left a lot of runs on the field as well.
Being out of desperation or whatever, Coach Perry is known to pull a little trick out, or some tricks out of his bags. Is there any keys?
No, there's really not. I think that's what makes him so successful. Is Coach obviously has done an unbelievable job for many years at getting his teams ready to play and doing what he has to do to win games. And whether that be offense, defense, special teams, he's done it all, and he does a great job of getting his teams ready to play. And you got to be, just like you said, you got to be very locked in when you play him across the board. Certainly, that's how you feel as a defensive coordinator playing against him, because if he knows what you're in, it's going to be a long day for you. You got to be very. You got to really watch what you do and change things up on him, because he's so great at play calling.
Mark, last year your team played real well at South Carolina against you. What do you take from that game?
Well, I'd like to start better. We talked about it last year. You watch them, and even going in their game last year, I remember thinking, they really can strike you fast. And you really got to withstand that, and we've got to start better. They really got out to a big start on us a year ago. That can happen. It's not something that's uncommon for me when I watch Coach Spurrier and the way he calls plays and the way they execute offensively. So you got to be very careful of that. You got to make sure you get off to a better start. And once we settled in, we started playing better and got some momentum. And I think at that point we really played pretty good on all phases. The offense was moving the ball and keeping us off the field some. I talk about that often. If we play good on all sides, we've got a chance. We're not dominant enough on any one side just to win a game against a team like South Carolina.
Coach Spurrier has been on record saying before that he doesn't really think Kentucky is an SEC state. I don't know how serious he is when he says something like that, but I mean, does that kind of offend you? And what do you guys got to do?
Well, I really got no comment on that. I mean, we all know that Kentucky's a great SEC state, and that's how I feel. So.
Coach, once you looked at the film this weekend, the game such a blur, who really jumped out at you that really played well? Anybody on the film?
I thought defensively it was there were a bunch of guys. Obviously, when you play that kind of performance defensively, there was a bunch of guys doing some good things. I'd like to point out J.D. Harmon on special teams really did a good job. Did okay, did some good things, got in on defense as well, but really played excellent on special teams. as most of our guys did. It was a real challenge going into that week on kickoff, and although with the great success that Vandy had the week before, I thought the guys really stepped up and played well on special teams. On defense, Bud had some good numbers. Again, it was good to see him, but he was very active all day. He's been active all year. Zadarius played very well. Melvin inside, those guys don't get enough credit inside, but Melvin's really playing well inside defensively and starting to do some better things on the second and third levels at linebacker and in the secondary.
Mark, talking with Neil about offense and balance, how has your philosophy in terms of that run-pass mix, how has it evolved since you've been here?
Well, I think you hear me talk about it all the time. When I'm sitting here from a defensive point of view and you're trying to defend somebody, you're always worried about somebody that's balanced. And at the end of the day, you got to have some physicality about you. I think we're doing a good job of trying to become as balanced as we can be. We want to throw the football. We do throw the football. We're throwing it around, and I thought Patrick started the game extremely efficient, and was the timing of his throws and the accuracy of his throws early was awesome. And so we're really throwing it well and doing some good things, but you've got to have some balance. And I like the way Neil's calling the game. I like what we're doing. It's easy to say on either side of the ball. I called plays defensively for a long time. It's easy to say afterwards, well, I would have done this different or that different. But during the game, it's a little bit different. So I think we're doing a good job, and I think he's really keeping them off balance. And we're working to be better in all areas, running and throwing.
Is there any kind of percentage, ideal percentage? Or I know it kind of.
I think it fluctuates. It does. It changes a little bit. Sometimes. I think over the years, it's been my experience that I don't like to talk myself out of something during the week, and maybe not give, you have to do what you do, and you have to stay true to who you are and what you want to do. Sometimes you may blitz more, sometimes you may play coverage, sometimes offensively you want to run it more or pass it, but sometimes coaches can talk themselves into thinking that they're too good on this area or that area and stay away from it. And you have to make them accountable. You have to make them stop the run to throw it. If you don't try, then eventually you're going to get in trouble.
Is that where the communication between you and DJ really come into play there when you're trying to not talk each other out of doing things?
Yeah, I think it does. And we do a nice job of talking about things, and communicating what we want to do, in particular on the big downs, on the third downs. Yeah.
Why are you so much better on third down so far this year than you were?
We're covering better and we're executing better. Everyone wants to talk about the pressures that we had this past week, and we had some good ones. It comes down to executing them. Sometimes, you could have all the grand schemes and all that other stuff. Players have to do it, and they played really well. They played, like I told you after the game. I felt like they played with good energy, but I felt like we just played very precise. We executed things very well.
I think it's probably your best day since you've been here on defense. I know you're always working to do the best. What areas are you still not satisfied in that you got to improve?
Well, we gave up, in this past game, there was 2 runs that we gave up that were our fault, that were unforced errors. We didn't get, and take nothing away from them or anything, but there's things we could have done easily by having being sharper in the mind, and so that aggravates you right there. We're better, but we talk about it all the time. Just like the one loss we had this year, you don't know what game it is or what play it is that changes a game. It could be something early in the game that you have a chance to have a 2nd and 10 instead of a 1st and 10. How do you know that's not the difference in the game? So. We're just constantly just trying to do the best we can and get them in our players. I think, they're doing a good job of preparing. I patted them on the back and told you all the time how I like coaching them and on both sides of the ball and their attitude's right and their heart's right. We just got to be better. We got to be stronger and more fundamental. It's like, you hear me talk about it, and it's true. It's a routine game. you got to block, you got to run, you got to get off blocks, and there's things we left on the field, and we continue to leave on the field that we can't do as we move forward in this season.
Mark, how did Nick Haynes do Saturday in your latest?
Nick,
How are those other guys doing?
Nick started a little slow, and that's been his MO. So I thought he's got to come in and settle down a little bit. So he was a little shaky at first, but he settled in good and played a good football game and really battled. I think all those old linemen were getting thin. They played the whole game and gave great effort, and were very physical at the end of the game when we needed them to be on 80 snaps or whatever it was. So those guys are really battling hard. We need to get some guys healthy, and we'll be close. We were very close last week with Cole and Zach. We anticipate that they'll be out there sometime this week and helping us.
The tight ends haven't been very active in the past
Mm-hmm.
since the first week. Is that something that is it just happening in the game flow, or is it something you'd like to see?
It is. It's just we need to get them involved. They need to do some things better too. They need to block better when they have opportunities and keeps them in the game, and we'll get them the ball here and there. We need to. So.
What you talked about play being fundamentally sound, but having playmakers contributes to your success.
Oh, no question. Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, that's always, I'll never deny that. That. That's why we recruit so hard. But it's been really nice to see the playmakers out there. We need to continue to develop these guys and continue to make plays, and need to continue to bring along Javis and DeMarco, some of our older wide receivers, and get them more involved and get them some more catches. We had some opportunities Saturday and just missed on them, but and the young guys need to continue to improve. A guy like Blake missed an awful lot of practice the last 2 weeks, and that shows. That shows on Saturday. We got to get him out there on the practice field and continue to develop him. It was good to see Boom get the ball. It was good to see McKell get the ball, and made some really nice runs, both of them.
Where are you with Badette and Montgomery?
Badette and Montgomery it's questionable, probably doubtful, I'd say right now. Unless something happens this week, we'll see.
Mark, how far do you go with those guys before you start thinking
We're in that range right now, because we're better. We're better at that area. If they're not 100%, then the other guys can handle it. So we need them back. We want them back. We need them both back at 100%.
What kind of problems does Cooper, number 11, present to you?
Yeah, he's a good football player, strong. They do a nice job of getting him the ball, whether it's rushing or throwing, and he's just a good football player.
Mark, the persons of interest that have come out about the shooting on campus, one of them looks like he's wearing the Land Shark shirt
Yeah.
that Coach Niver made. Have you
Yeah.
guys been contacted about anybody being asked questions?
I have been about 5 minutes ago before this press conference, honestly. So let me gather some information on that and go from there.
Are you more confident going into an SEC game than ever before?
We're confident, and we felt like that all year. I'd say just in but it's honest to say early in the year, like, we're confident, we know we're better, but you still need to go see it. You need to go prove it. And that's the beautiful thing about this game. We got another opportunity this week to prove it. So, I expect us to continue to improve. I really do. I felt like, we did some good things in the first few games, but we got a lot that we can improve on.
Mark, you said before the season you were looking for more accountability from your returning players. How much of that have you seen, and how much has that lent itself to the success you guys have?
Well, I think it's most important, is the accountability within our program and the leadership development within our program, and just the attitude of our team. We're not perfect, but we're vastly improve to when we got here on campus. Just a sign of that is like JoJo, and I pointed that out after the game, but it's true. A guy like him that didn't get his carries throughout the game, and just stayed positive on the sideline, staying with it, was locked in, got his opportunity late in the game, and did very well. And there's several guys that can learn from that.
How familiar are you with Coach Spurrier?
I'm very familiar with Coach Spurrier, from playing him several times, but we go back a long way. It's pretty well documented that him and Bob are very close friends, and Steve Spurrier Jr. and I work together. I know the family, and have an awful lot of respect for Coach Spurrier and what he's done, and so it'll be fun, and it'll be a real challenge this week.
Going back to the question that he asked about Kentucky being an SEC state, Spurrier says a lot of those things. I know you have a lot of respect for him. When he says stuff like that, do you think it's
I think he told you. If you listen to him all in the summer, I mean, he tells you he's just having fun. I mean, he's like that. But some of the things, I'm not saying that in particular, but some of the things he says is true, and some people don't like hearing the truth. He's a very honest guy, and as a coach, you respect that. Calls it the way it is. A lot of times, I try to do that. If we get our butts beat, I say it the way it is, and don't try to make excuses, and it is what it is, and that part of it, if you really know him, you really respect what he's saying. Some of it is just having fun and throwing barbs, I'm sure. I don't know, but yeah. By the way, I want to stay away from that with a 10-foot pole. Yeah. Yeah.
Spoken to you as of yet about getting your first SEC win?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they both gave me a call after the game. They had a bye week last week, so they both gave me a call, and we're happy for me. No, not really. No.
Bud said after the victory, Bud said that the difference between last year's defense and this year's defense is sometimes guys were waiting for other guys to make plays.
Yeah.
So like maybe himself and Zadarius.
Mm-hmm.
He said now it's like everybody wants to make a play. Do you get that feeling from them?
Yeah, definitely, and you have to have that feeling, and that's a mindset that we really try to instill in them right away. And I think if you ask my players that played for me defensively for many years, back to Florida State or wherever I've been, I get pretty heated or pretty passionate about, don't look to me for a call. You make it right. And there'd be stretches when I was at Florida State, my players would laugh after the year or years later that I wouldn't give them a call. I'd say, you call it, because I'd be so frustrated. You know what I mean? So you line up and play. Everything I'm calling's not working. You do it. And they know what this meant. They're like, oh shit. So they knew what to call. They knew what to call. They really did, and that's the truth. I'd get so disgusted, I'd just tell them, that's it, I'm done. No, we got to a point where we were pretty fundamental there. Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody on defense that maybe going into the fall you didn't really think much about, who's really come through for you and played much better than you would have thought?
Well, certainly Cole. Cole would be one that played very well. I don't know. Shoot, we were counting on all those guys. You knew the year we were coming off. I was hoping all these guys would be players. I think Cole would be one. I think Mike Douglas. I kind of anticipated him having a good year. He's played really well. Melvin's really improved.
You mentioned that Davis, the running back for South Carolina. What kind of challenges does he give you guys? And then your linebackers seem to play better.
Yeah. Yeah, we did play better. We ran out of there. One mental mistake where we had a backer just over pursue, just lack of discipline. So once we got that corrected, we got it cleaned up pretty quick. But Mike is he's just a very good football player, always going forward. Very difficult to tackle. He's got everything you want in a running back, just the balance, the speed, the vision. So. Good, very good player.
When you guys recruited Stamps out of junior college, did you know like right away that he was going to be a key contributor to this team? Was that a first instinct type thing that you knew he was?
Yeah, he was a guy that we had to have. I mean, so when we're recruiting, there's obviously some targets that you really feel the need to come in and fill a void in your team. Certainly when you're recruiting junior college players, you have to hit on those guys. And so we knew he was an excellent football player. When we recruited him, we knew he could play inside, and I even had the idea he could possibly help us outside as well, because we have some guys like Blake and now Kendall that are versatile, that could play possibly corner, nickel, dime, safety, and I thought AJ was a guy like that, but we had such a need at that spot that he's come in and filled it big time, and his instincts have been maybe a little bit better than I anticipated at that spot, because that usually comes from experience. And in junior college, he really played a lot of positions as well. But having the offensive background, I think, helps him as well, too. So that's all right, sir.
You have 11 different guys credited with sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Are you pleased with how you generate pressure from all?
That's good. I didn't realize that, but that is good. And yeah, we are trying to generate pressures from a lot of different ways, and that's good to hear that statistic. So I didn't realize it, but we're doing what we do, and each week we try to build different pressures in each week, and we have a lot of things kind of in the bank that you may pull out at certain times, and that's where kind of getting back to the question that somebody asked me earlier about the second year. I mean, just being able to execute what you need to, under pressure. That's the big thing, and I think we're better. We're not perfect, but we're better.
Mark, some of your players told us about your dance moves after the game. Is that something we're going to see in a recording?
We have to go there? I hope not. I was right in the middle of a big old mosh pit, so I hope there's no video of that out there anywhere. That's for sure. But no, we're going to enjoy victories. Our players have worked extremely hard for a long time. They're happy, and so it's good just to have a moment and have a little fun. Back to work today.